plant tissue is on the basis of the ability to divide, on the basis of their ability to divide. On this basis, the plant tissues are classified into two categories. One category of the tissue which are able to divide, right? These are those tissue we can also call as a group of cells, right? So those cells or tissue, see, tissue could also be written as, if I write tissue here, tissue is also equal to cells, right? Now, which cells will be forming tissue? So there is a very basic criteria. The cell should be of the same origin. The condition required for the group of cells. Cells means group always, right? When there are more than one number of cells and they are forming a group, this group is called as tissue. These cells are always of the same origin. They have same origin, means they are forming from the same origin, and they may or may not have same function. They may have same function also, they may perform different functions also, but the origin for these cells is always going to be same. So cells of the same origin performing same or different functions is called as tissue. Study of tissue we know is called as histology, right? And in this chapter of class 9 for tissue we are going to study tissue in plants and tissue in animals. We have started with the classification of tissue for plants. So plant tissue is categorized into two categories. This is on the basis of the ability to divide. Those who are able to divide, they are called as meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue. These are those tissues or cells of the plant body which are continuously able to divide. They are called as meristematic tissue. And there is a next category of the cells or tissue in the case of plants which are not able to divide. They don't, or is right as not able to divide. They are called as permanent tissue. So now we have seen there are two categories of tissues in plants. One is the meristematic tissue and the next one is the permanent tissue. Meristematic are those which are continuously dividing tissues or cells, and those who continuously don't divide. So if they are not dividing, what they are doing? They are for some specific function. They perform some specific function. What is the function of these meristematic tissue? Depending upon their ability, what they are going to perform. See, the division is responsible for growth and maturation. So these are the growing tissues. The part of the plant which is able to show growth is only by the ability of these meristematic tissues. So this becomes the function of the meristematic tissue. Whereas the permanent tissues, they are specialized. They are specialized tissue. They perform some specific function except growth. There is one exception for the character which is mentioned for the permanent tissue. There is a tissue called as parenchyma. I write the exception here. This is exception, and the exception is parenchyma. What is the exception for this parenchyma? We have mentioned the character for the permanent tissue, that the permanent tissue are those tissues who don't divide, but this parenchymal tissue can divide. If required, it can divide, and then again it becomes permanent, right? So this is the tissue which is able to perform the function of a meristematic tissue also and the function of a permanent tissue also. So this is one exception, that is what is called as the parenchyma. The tissue which are able to divide are meristematic, and this ability is called as totipotency. A very important term, this one, totipotency. Ability to divide. Ability to divide is called as totipotency, right? So this we have to mention here. This is ability. Ability to divide. So there are two categories of tissues in the case of plant. One who are able to divide, they are called as meristematic, and the ability of dividing is called as totipotency, right? Otherwise, there are some other tissues in the plant also which don't divide continuously, they perform some specific function. What could be the specific function? If we take some examples of the specific functions which are performed by the permanent tissue, so one is mechanical support. The next will be conduction of materials, conduction. You know, plants, they are able to perform photosynthesis. So the next function will be the process of autotrophic nutrition or food preparation, right? Carrying water from the roots to the top of the plant, process of exchange of gases, right? Providing rigidity to the plant, having ability to secrete something. All these are coming in the category of specific functions. So besides dividing, if a tissue is performing any other function to a plant, so that function will come in the category of the permanent tissue. So this is a very brief classification for the plant tissue. Two are there. One is meristematic, who are able to divide. If they are dividing, what role they will do? They will provide growth to the plant, they will provide maturation to the plant, and if suppose it is required to do some type of repair, so this repair of the plant body, any damage which is being repaired, that is also being done by the meristematic tissue. They are continuously forming new cells, right? And that is why they are performing these functions. Whereas in this category, they don't have this ability except one exception. This we have to mention separately, exception. Parenchyma is a permanent tissue. So if it is a permanent tissue, it will not be dividing, but sometimes when it is required, it do the process of division. That is a type of secondary division, and this we are going to see in the coming part of our class. Now after this classification is over, we are going to start with these two types of tissues separately. So one time we will take the meristematic tissue, right? And then we will be discussing about the permanent tissue. So the next topic for the class is meristematic tissue, right? So what we understood from this classification, plant tissue, they belong to two categories. Some have the ability to divide, they are called meristematic. Some don't have the ability to divide, they are called as permanent. Actually, the permanent tissues are formed from the meristematic tissues and they lose the ability to divide, and that is why they are called as permanent. Now, the new topic is meristematic tissue. Characters we have discussed, right? Tissue means what? So tissue could also be called as cells, group of cells, and these cells, they belong to same origin, and they may or may not perform the same function. Classification of meristematic tissue. So meristematic tissue could be classified into different categories. Like if we classify the meristematic tissue, the first criteria which we are taking is the time of formation. Time of formation means when these meristematic tissues are forming. On this basis, there are two types of meristematic tissues. They are namely, one is called as the primary meristematic tissue. What is the meaning of primary? This we are going to see afterwards. This is one type on the basis of the time of formation. Time or period, you may also write as period. Period or time of formation. And the second is the secondary meristematic tissue. Secondary meristematic tissue. The primary meristematic tissue and the secondary meristematic tissue. These are the two categories of tissues which we have mentioned till now, right? Now, what is the meaning of primary? Primary means early. Primary means early. This is the period of formation, early. Those meristematic tissues which are formed early, they are called as primary meristematic tissue, and secondary is referred to as later. is those tissues which are formed afterwards. They are called as secondary meristematic tissue. Now I would like to show you this process of primary means early formation of meristematic tissue and the secondary meristematic tissue formation also. For this purpose, what I am going to do here, I am going to draw a diagram. Which diagram? The diagram of a shoot tip. Shoot tip. Now for many students it might not be easy to know the meaning of these two words. Tip means the topmost part. It is also called as, tip could also be called as apex, or it could also be called as the apical part. Right? There are so many names for tip. Tip could also be called as apex. It could also be called as apical part. Shoot refers to stem. So the tip of a stem is the diagram which we will be drawing to understand the early formation and the later formation of the meristematic tissue. And on that basis, those who will be forming early will be called as primary, and those who will be forming later will be called as secondary. So here is the diagram for you. Right, which is the diagram we are going to draw. I will be writing the name once more, but you might be remembering it. This is the diagram of a shoot. Shoot means stem. Now the stem of a plant arises from the plumule of a seed. The origin is from plumule of seed. It is a part of the seed. See, seed is germinating to form a plant. Seeds, they germinate to form a plant. So there are different structures in a plant. Stem is forming from which part of the seed? So this is forming from the plumule part. If I want to show you the plumule here for your reference, so see, I am going to draw a seed of gram. See, this is gram. In Hindi we call it as chana, right? And this is the outer cover of this seed, which is being drawn for you to understand, right? This is what is we call as the seed coat, outer cover, and inside the seed coat, see, this gram belongs to a category of a dicot plant. What is the meaning of a dicot plant? This is a plant in which inside the seed there are two fleshy structures which are called as cotyledons, and in the center there will be a elongated structure like this. This we call as the embryonical axis, right? Please cooperate. Embryonical axis, right? And on the either side of the axis there are two fleshy structures. This is a dicot. Dicot plant means a plant in which the seed is containing two cotyledons. Cotyledons are these two fleshy, leafy structures inside the seed, and in the center there is an embryonical axis. This diagram is to locate the plumule of the seed. The upper end, this one, is called as plumule, and this lower point, this one, is called as the radicle. This you have to remember, because in the coming chapter, that is the diversity of living organisms, when you will be studying about the plants, this diagram is going to come for you. So it is earlier you are going to understand the same structure. The purpose of drawing this diagram is to locate plumule. This plumule is also called as future shoot, right? And this radicle is also called as future root. This is the detailed structure for a dicot seed, or simply seed in which we have located the plumule. This plumule is going to form the shoot, and in this shoot we are going to see the shoot tip, right? Now see this shoot tip here. If I draw this plumule for you outside like this, this is the tip of the plumule. So inside there will be so many number of cells. these cells are continuously dividing cells. So any cell which is continuously dividing is called as what? It is called as meristematic cell. Group of cells is called as tissue. So meristematic cells or tissue. Now when they are dividing, then what they do, they continuously grow. So it will be growing with due respect to time. When the number of cells are increasing, the size of the stem will start increasing and will elongate towards upward side. This newly forming structure is going to form the stem of the plant in coming future, right? And the tip of this stem is called as apical, and all the cells which are present here are called as apical meristem. This is called as apical meristem. It is forming early, it is forming in the beginning. So this apical meristem will be the example of a primary meristematic tissue. We were trying to find out what is the meaning of primary meristematic tissue and secondary meristematic tissue. Those meristematic tissues which are forming early in the initial period of the growth, they are called as primary. So this is the apical which is forming primary. Some cells will remain at the base here and they are going to form the node from where the leaves or the branches are going to arise, and those who are present at the base of the node, they are called as intercalary, and they are also continuously dividing, so they are also called as intercalary meristematic tissue. Intercalary meristematic tissue, and this is also forming initially. So this is again one example of primary. So there are two primary meristematic tissue. Which two? One is the apical. You may call it apical or apical. So this is one first example of a primary meristematic tissue, which is apical meristematic tissue, and the second one is intercalary. Intercalary is present at the base of nodes and internodes, right? So, and these are the two examples of apical meristematic tissue and intercalary as the primary meristematic tissue. Some are forming later. When the stem will elongate, they will form at the margin here, and they are forming at the margin, and margin is called as lateral, L-A-T-E-R-A-L, lateral, right? And they are responsible for the thickness of the stem or a branch, and they are called as lateral meristematic tissue, and they are forming later. So this will become the example of a an example of a secondary meristematic tissue. So this is example of secondary. This I have written in short SEC, secondary meristematic tissue. We were trying to find out the type of meristematic tissue, and which we have discussed that there are two types. One which is forming early is called as primary meristematic tissue, and one which is forming late is called as secondary meristematic tissue. I have written PMT and SMT in short. A very simple way to understand. There are two types: primary meristematic tissue, secondary meristematic tissue. Those are forming initially. So initially who are forming? From the plumule. The radicle will also do so, but it is not going to form the stem. What it will form? The radicle will form the root. Root will also have the root tip. It will also have the lateral surface and will also have these type of structures, but they are known by different names. This is a diagram to show the presence of meristematic tissue on the shoot tip. Right. Now after this is over, we are going to draw this structure once more, because there will be one more classification for the meristematic tissue. Right. So is this much understandable? Or if there is any problem, you can write your comment in the chat box. I will be looking for it continuously. If you face any difficulty to understand these things which are mentioned to you on the board, please let me know, but in a very decent manner, please, right? So I hope you are now understanding this topic, right?